Hey, systems engineers, are you working on a software intensive project where you're trying to get the software requirements down? Well, that can be a tricky exercise, but these three artifacts, if you do them, particularly when it regards to something that involves software, I think are really going to help you get the requirements solid and let you basically deliver something to the programmers to help them actually write code and have it be the correct code the first time. So the three items, and this is just from some experience I had on basically a transporter system. A lot of software, a lot of hardware. It was a great project, but the three items that were very key in my experience were use cases, sequence diagrams. That's the second, and then we didn't get to this one, but what really would have made it solid was a data flow diagram. Okay, so first, what is a use case? So whenever human beings are interacting with a product that you're trying to build or a system or even different artifacts, maybe it's some bots or an API is trying to hit it, a use case is very helpful to give a graphic visual depiction of what's going on. So for instance, to use a restaurant example, someone goes up to the automated counter, okay, then they type in what they want. I do this all the time for getting submarine sandwiches, hoagies, at a fast food chain called Wawa. I grew up near Philadelphia. There are Wawas all over the place, but they've automated things. You go up to a kiosk and order your hoagie. I had a tuna panini, basically a tuna melt the other day. But I had to order, did I want peppers, did I want salt, and all that. So there's a use case that was used to develop the software for the kiosk. Okay. Now, that's usually not super hard to develop. Usually you just talk through concepts of operations, operational concepts, but having them down gives us a start on the requirements because now we know the entities, we can work on interfaces, and we can at least have a running start. The second is something called the sequence diagram. So the sequence diagram, think swim lanes. Okay, so you might have a one lane going down the page, and if you want to reference here, look at SysML version 1.3 or 2.0, whatever you're using. They have a good description of sequence diagrams. They think of the kiosk in one lane, then passing something over, some signal over to the controller, and then that passes something over to the output in the back in the kitchen to where it displays the order, let's say, if you're doing real-time orders. So that sequence diagram can give one level of detail more than the use case. Okay. So now with those, we're getting closer, okay, to something that the software folks can use. And then we as requirements engineers, systems engineers, we can start writing specs to. Now the third item, and I admittedly haven't really delved into this as much as I could have in my current projects, but I'm hoping to. But what showed a lot of promise, so I want to give it to you, is a data flow diagram. So that means, again, you have a sequence diagram, maybe you expand that. You can overlay this on the sequence diagram, but just have on the line, have an item that says, okay, the data here is a 32-bit float number, and it's the price of the item, or it's a code. It's a 4-byte integer for the code of what food item was purchased. O1 is a hamburger, O2 is a milkshake. You get the idea. So, but the beauty of this is that the engineering that's done to create this data flow diagram ferrets out all these questions about, well, what should it do? Who's talking to whom? Which you have to do if you want to write coherent code. So, again, the three things that I would recommend if you have a software intensive engineering project is a use case diagram, set of those, sequence diagrams, and then a data flow diagram. Now, if there's not much software, but it's still a hardware intensive system that operators use, you still want use cases and sequence diagrams. And honestly, I'm not sure what development items don't have some amount of software, except maybe some firearms. Even there, some of them are starting to have sensors and things like that. So those three will really help. Check out some of my other posts for other items that are really going to help as far as developing requirements. There's a different post that had the need for a context diagram, a physical architecture, and a functional architecture. So those three you definitely need to have first. But if you've got those and you're dealing with a lot of software, then I would add this set of second three, where it's the use case, the sequence diagram, and then the data flow diagram. Okay, it could be an overlay or it could be a separate thing. So anyhow, comment below. Let me know what you think. If you feel there's a third set of three that are essential, I'd love to know about it, and I'm happy to do a post on it. If you think I've got them all, let me know. If I'm missing something, let me know as well. So comment below.